welcome to the Caviar and Candy podcast. I'm your host, Paula Conway, and today I'm joined by my producer, Azaria Muhammad. We have a really exciting one for you. Azaria, you're going to kick it off. Let's go. What are we doing?
Yes, so today's topic is very exciting. We will be talking about another business that is set to launch in a few years that has the potential to kickstart a new luxury air travel era. It's Overture, a new supersonic airliner engineered by Boom Supersonic technology. So, Paula, just start me off by telling us about Boom Supersonic and Overture Airlines.
Okay, so let me clarify that Overture is not an airline. So Boom Supersonic is an American aerospace company developing Overture, and that's a new commercial supersonic passenger aircraft. The first iteration was in 2025, and they called it the XB1. Boom's XB1 demonstrator, so it's basically like, let's test this out, broke the sound barrier in January of 2025. That was an important technological milestone. But XB1 was the test craft, not the passenger carrying Overture. And that is what they have now. And they will officially, as far as we know right now, they will officially roll it out for 2029. Important distinction: Boom not being an airline, and Overture is not an airline. Boom Supersonic is the company, and Overture is the supersonic craft, and will be purchased and operated by established carriers like American Airlines, United, and so forth. Right now, American Airlines, United Airlines, and Japan Airlines have placed orders, or pre-orders. And Boom says that the total order booking right now is at 130 aircrafts. So the other thing that's really interesting is that it's being designed, Overture is being designed as boomless. So boomless means you're too young to know, but back in the the early days of supersonic craft, it was the first supersonic aircraft that we had in the United States and abroad. But the distinction is that when it would fly over you, wherever you were, there would be a massive boom, literally
Hmm.
a boom. So, and that boom was, quick shake windows. It was upsetting to everyone when it would fly overboard. So boomless will carry, this boomless aircraft, Overture, is going to carry between 64 and 80 passengers at a Mach 1.7, and that's about twice the speed of today's commercial airliners. And it will operate across more than 600 potential routes. They envision this as an all premium cabin, which you can see in the image behind me, with large windows, premium materials, and of course, advanced connectivity, because this is going to appeal not only to a luxury travel, but a business traveler. They say right now that the fares could be comparable to today's business class. Sounds good for corporations, for individuals, but that's not a proven ticket price yet, and it's not out yet. So let's put a pin in that, and we'll discuss it when it actually comes out, what they're pricing it at.
Okay, great. So now that we have a good idea of what it is, tell me what kind of impact do you foresee this new high-speed technology having on the travel experiences of the upper class?
The greatest luxury that Overture could sell and is selling isn't a bigger seat. It's not a lie flat seat. It's not caviar and champagne. It's time.
Hmm.
And when you talk about a luxury traveler and a business traveler, that is our most valuable commodity. It's time. So the idea, for example, that you could go from JFK to Heathrow in 3.5 hours, as opposed to 6.5 to 7, depending on airspeed that day, that's a short flight, and that's impactful to your business, obviously, your ability to get things done. So we've traditionally defined luxury aviation through space, private suites,
Hmm.
closing doors, double beds, showers, and elaborate lounges. When Emirates came out, the Concorde, that was our first supersonic. Oh, I got there. The Concorde was the one that eventually, was became a little technology, and we haven't had a Concorde since. So this is the new iteration. So when you think about Emirates Airlines, when they came out with their first class suites, they were the biggest. They're still elaborate to this day. You have a beautiful vanity. You have your own personal bar with alcohol and, sodas in there, tonic
Mhm.
waters. You have a huge screen, and you have a wall basically that shuts while you're in there. I mean, it is ultra luxurious. And they have, in their first class cabins, they have a shower. Um,
Wow.
so for executives and, affluent travelers, spending fewer nights away from home or turning a major international journey into a long weekend is really the luxury here. And an aircraft that's carrying only 64 to 80 passengers in an all premium configuration would create a natural scarcity and exclusivity and a prestige to everybody. So this could really change airline loyalty, which is interesting because airlines have made these pre-orders. The carrier offering the fastest route may become more important than the carrier offering the largest route or the most
Mhm.
elaborate amenity kit. The sharper way to say it really is that private aviation sells control. First class sells comfort, and supersonic aviation is selling time.
Time is money.
Time is money. That's it. And you can see that from my background that it's a gorgeous, it looks to me like an ultra premium business class suite. And it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head there. So, Boom's high-speed technology will cut travel days in half, right? Making out of reach locations way more accessible.
Yeah.
And additionally, places like the Caribbean and Mexico, they have a lot of exclusive resorts for wealthy clientele because their location is so convenient. So after Overture is launched, after 2029, which locations will be the new hotspot for luxury travel, in your opinion?
I think you're really talking about anything that's long haul. Anything long haul that you've now taken down to just a few hours is going to be exciting for affluent travelers and for business travelers. So Japan could become a stronger luxury destination
Yeah,
for American travelers, for food, fashion, wellness, skiing, high-end hospitality. Indian ocean destinations like the Maldives and the Seychelles could
yeah,
attract more short stay travelers. I mean, if I could do any of these destinations, and I could just have a long weekend, I would be very excited. Africa could also benefit, particularly safari destinations in cities that currently require travelers to commit, 20 hours, 24 hours. Australia. I mean, when I flew to Australia, I'm on the East Coast. I had to go to the West Coast. Then I had to get to Sydney, so it was over 20 hours. I happened to need to go up where near the Great Barrier Reef. That was another 4 hours. It was like 26 hours of flying. It depends where
that's
you're going in Australia.
insane.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
I don't know
Right.
how people do that, but that's crazy.
So imagine that eventually I can get to, you and I can fly to LA and we can get there in 3 hours or less.
Hmm.
And then if you and I decide we're going, to Sydney, Australia, we can now get there in 5 hours, something like that. Like,
Yeah,
that's exciting.
very crazy. Um, okay, so tell me about your first class experiences and your luxury travel experiences, and then tell me what kinds of features could Overture incorporate into their flights to make the customer experience more luxurious.
Well, I'll tell you from myself, the most luxurious first class that I have been in is Air New Zealand,
Hmm.
and Lufthansa.
Hmm.
And that was quite some time ago. So, I'm sure that they're even more luxurious now. Um, oh, Air India. So Air India on their A350, they don't have a first class. They have a business class, and then they have a premium economy, and then an economy, which is the new business model. That's the new business model, because you can get corporations to buy into whatever's called first class much more easily than you can first. So that is the first class cabin on that plane. I had a beautiful suite. It was incredibly spacious. The food was amazing. The menu was like just one of the biggest menus I've ever seen. I started off with, champagne, and we had delicious salads and delicious.
Mm,
It just felt very Michelin star to me.
yeah.
So I can't recommend it enough. But on a flight that may last only 3 or 4 hours, an enormous bed. I had a full size bed that they made for me, which is part of the luxury of the first class. Somebody comes and makes it for you, and there's a bed pad.
Mm,
It's less important than a beautifully designed seat where passengers can work, dine, and relax, right? The ground experience will be crucial. The private check-in areas will be crucial. The expedited security, the elegant lounge, the priority baggage handling, seamless curb to aircraft journey. It has to be fast, right? Because
yeah.
you just that's what I think. So if it's not, I'm going to be really not supersonically impressed. And then on board, I would say the priorities: quiet, privacy, air quality, flattering lighting, beautiful tableware, restaurant quality food. You can see from my background that the windows, are larger. Overture is designed to fly at altitudes of approximately 60,000 feet. And one of
Crazy.
the things they say on their website is that you'll be able to see the curvature of the earth. So, and that's why it's boomless, by the way, because it's higher
Mm,
and it's faster. So
hmm.
you're not going to have that boom. It's amazing what they'll be able to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just kind of realized that a lot of these luxury airlines, like you said, Air India and Lufthansa, sort of capitalize on the fact that the journey is so long.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that industry kind of shifts, assuming Boom were to be really successful with their new airplanes and business. So yeah, it's like that
Yeah.
journey, it's like more about like the journey than the destination from these already established airlines. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. Um,
Agreed.
so will supersonic air travel become the status of wealth, the new status of wealth, in your opinion?
I think only initially, because scarcity create status. That's what happens. Being the first, the exclusivity around the routes, the limited number of seats, the ability to say, I had breakfast in New York and dinner in Europe. But I think it won't be a lasting appeal because of conspicuous consumption. It's going to get more affordable. It's going to be more accessible. If Boom and its airline customers can generally price seats at today's business class fares, supersonic travel could eventually extend beyond billionaires to executives, entrepreneurs, and affluent leisure travelers. Like right out the gate, Boom currently presents business class comparable fares as its ambition. So it remains to be seen. That wealth status will be like 15 minutes of fame, and then
Mm,
it will be business class status, which is makes sense.
okay. Okay. Okay, so I have a hypothetical for you. If you got offered to take a supersonic flight anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
Well, I am a Britophile. I love London.
Mm,
So I take a long weekend, and that would be, and I do that now, flying 7 hours.
hmm.
I've done that where I've only gone for like 3 days. That's how much I love it. But then Tokyo and Hong Kong, absolutely, for a long weekend. And What about you? What would be your firsts?
Mm.
What comes to mind?
Okay, somewhere not close. So at first I was thinking South Africa because
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about it
Yes.
and I just wanted like first stop would be somewhere super far, super inconvenient, right?
Yes.
I've been wanting to go to Brazil for a while now, so maybe Brazil.
Yep.
And then maybe Dubai.
Yes.
Maybe Dubai because, you know, it's Dubai. Like it's very and it's like the prime hotspot for like luxury travelers, the wealthy millionaires, billionaires. So that would be very exciting if I had the
And
opportunity.
I'm with you. I think the answer is anywhere far that it makes it accessible. And I think that's going to be the initial allure to people.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to the locations that you just named. So I would like to go there too.
We'll go together.
We'll go together. Yeah. Stick with me. We might be on this jet, you know?
Boom, listen to us. Or do you
Uh-huh.
hear us? Okay. Now, my final question is, give me one second. What does the future of luxury travel look like to you? And where does supersonic flight fit into that vision?
I think it's what we said. It's not about more marble, more champagne, a larger hotel suite. It's access, it's personalization, it's privacy, it's removal of friction. Travel is all about friction.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
friction. And I have flown in a private jet twice, and that was the appeal for me. The first one I went in, it wasn't the seats because it was a low ceiling. It was a really small private jet. And like I'm, 5'9", so like I couldn't stand up straight. It was
Hmm.
incredibly uncomfortable. I felt like I was crawling into a tube.
Yeah.
Um, and the second time was a heavy jet, so tall ceilings, beautiful walking, very, very comfortable again. But the allure was, that I didn't have friction getting on and off at all. I met my pilots in the food and beverage operator. They call them FBOs, basically, inside, the what's it called? The airport area. It's not in the airport. It has its own area, its own building. But I met him there and we just walked on. It was great. Um,
That
so
sounds amazing.
so this technology is also going to make travel more predictive. So
Right.
airlines and hotels will know preferences before the traveler ever arrives, and they'll remove problems before they disappear. And that's really what luxury travelers want and what business travelers want. And luxury will also become experiential. So travelers will value that private access, the cultural immersion, the rare experience. So we think about it. I'm with you. I want to go to South Africa. I've wanted to go for years, in Egypt. And
Oh, yes, of course.
right. And if we
Yeah.
can just go for a few days, or we know,
And
yeah, get there faster, we can have these experiences, more experiences.
yeah, and not have to like take out a week. Like you could just take out 3, 4 days, you know?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. It's the value of that, it's not about the display of general opulence. Like that's boring. It's the value of the time, the, you know, more frequent trips, shorter stays, but amazing experiences while you're there. And I think that's where it's going to come. And I think the hotels are going to be really benefiting a lot with more short stay travelers doing the extended weekend. I mean, people like you and me, we're very busy.
Hmm.
We're very, very, very busy. Um, to me, I don't need a 2 week vacation is nice. It certainly helps clear the brain, but I haven't done that in a million years. Because
Hmm.
for me, if I can just go down to, I'm just going to make something up, but like Miami for the weekend and not be bothered by anyone and just lay by the pool and have good food, that's
100%.
really what I want,
That sounds like a dream.
right?
And it would also like this, new high speed travel, it would benefit the locations that are,
Yes.
very far from these I would say these affluent countries like the West, like
Yeah.
countries in like the global South or the East, like they would get way more tourism. Their economies would go up because they have more travelers, rather than just like the visitors that are just around the area.
Well,
So,
that's an excellent point.
yeah, it would benefit us, but it would benefit them too.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. So one of the things I did as an example of that in India was I went to this um, castle in the desert. It's a hotel. It's called Mehergar, and it's only something like 14 rooms.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's very remote because you have to first you have to fly from New Delhi to Jodhpur, not
Mm.
Jaipur, Jodhpur. That's quick. That's an hour. But then you have to drive like 2 hours to get out to the desert to this location. But places like that, which cater to luxury travelers and celebrities and book authors and people who want to hide because there's only like 10, 14 rooms, right?
Hmm.
And you're so isolated, they're going to be able to advertise if they so wish in a different way to say like things like what you and I are talking about, come for a long weekend and spend it at Mehergar, the castle in the desert. Anyway, yeah, you and I are on the same page about that, and I think I just think you hit a chord. The chord is that more remote locations are going to be much more successful, and they can be much more financially successful once this becomes more, available to mass consumers.
Exactly. Yeah, so I can't wait to see what 2029 brings and
Yeah.
the years beyond that. And yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting to see how that will play out.
Agreed. Well, thank you for joining us on today's episode of Caviar and Candy podcast as we discussed Boom Supersonic's attempt to reshape aviation with Overture and what that means to travel luxury. For more, join right here on Caviar and Candy and follow me. You can follow me on Instagram, Paula Conway NYC. You can follow me on Forbes and big news. I'm joining Inc. magazine as a columnist. So
Oh,
you can
nice.
follow me in lots of places, but where I really want you to follow me is at Paula Conway NYC and Instagram. But if you're really interested in luxury travel, you want to find me, Paula Conway, Forbes, and subscribe to my feed.